What's up, you guys? Steven here for Off the Shelf Movie Night to talk to you about physical media, about Blu-rays and 4Ks and the way we like to own our movies and TV shows and documentaries, all that stuff. So, technically not here to talk to you about physical media today, or in this installment on the channel, but I am here to talk to you about movies. So, hopefully you'll enjoy this little video, and if you do, give it a like, and if you haven't already subscribed, that's a must. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell so we can stay in contact and keep this conversation going. So this is a Pushing 100 update. If you have not been around and know about this project, then let me give you a brief idea of what it is. This was my New Year's resolution, and that is to see 100 films in theater this year. 100 films doesn't sound like that big a deal to us hardcore movie fans, but 100 films in theater is a big deal. And the other part is, right now I'm in hard mode. Doing a Pushing 100 project in hard mode means repertory films don't count. We're talking about new release films. The pandemic has impacted the release schedules for a lot of films. Some films have been moved around, that kind of thing. So hard mode may or may not stay in place. Like this week, as I'm recording this weekend, nothing new came out. I couldn't go see anything if I wanted to because there's nothing new in the theater. Maybe in your town, but not here in Nashville. So I'm going to stay in it. I think I could do it. I think there will be enough films coming up closer to the summer to help make up for the thinness of the schedule in January and February. It's an internet meme, but it is true. I don't know if you've heard it before, but we are finishing up Fuck You, It's January. If you don't know what that is, that refers to the suckiness of movies that are just dumped into theaters in January. So doing this Pushing 100 project starting the year is a tough one because it's a lot of garbage, that gets released in the theater in this month. It's traditionally a time that people go to the theater less, so studios kind of just dump their junk this time of the year. So looking at, an average of 2 movies a week, which is kind of what it would take to do this, I should have seen 8 films this month. I have seen 5. I knew going into the project that January and February I would be off. I would be behind. And that's fine because I feel like in March, April, through the summer, I'll be able to make up those losses. So 5 films I've seen this month. Got more to say about some of them than others. Suffice it to say, it was a rough month. Let me just switch over to the IMDb here so I can talk about these with you. I started the year off. My first film of this year was a movie called Drive My Car. Let's see. This is a Japanese film. Let me just see if I can give you the synopsis here. After his wife's unexpected death, Yusuke Kafuku, I think, a renowned stage actor and director, receives an offer to direct a production of Uncle Vanya in Hiroshima. There, he begins to face the haunting mysteries his wife left behind. That was a sucky reading. Sorry, not my best. For some of you who don't know, I'm legally blind, so trying to zoom in and read this stuff is a little challenging. Anyway, that's the basic story. This guy spends a lot of time in a car. He has a driver that he ends up interacting with, and it's a drama. This director is highly renowned. Let's see if I can, pronounce his name. Ryosuke Hamaguchi. He is a highly renowned in the art house world director. So I was excited to see this. It's kind of experimental. It was a commitment because it's 3 hours. It's 2 hours, 59 minutes long. So you're planning to be in the theater for 3.5 hours with trailers and whatnot. And it's getting rave reviews out in the world. But let me tell you something. I did not like it. It was boring. And I like art house films. I like experimental films. I like all of this stuff. It was boring, you guys. I did not like it. I'm just trying to fix this camera here. It's slow-paced, which is... I also like slow-paced films. I do. But this movie just didn't work for me. I didn't like it. I thought There were several great emotional moments in the film that were horribly impacted by way too much exposition. The moment gets executed by some pretty good actors, and then we have to spend several moments after that moment having it literally explained to us. It's like Daddy's first drama or something, or Baby's first drama. That's more like it. Baby's first drama. Like, you don't know what you're supposed to be feeling, so let me have the characters tell you. I hated that. Hated it. There's a couple of really good actors in the film, but I most assuredly do not recommend it. It was a rough start for the year. I'm going to skip that one, save it to the end. So I also saw, stick with the Japanese films, I also saw Belle. Now, to be fair, going in, I knew Belle wasn't going to be my cup of tea story-wise, but this is the challenge and sort of the fun of a Pushing 100 project. To do 100 films, you've got to step out of your comfort zone. You've got to give some other films that you would normally take a pass on, you've got to give them a chance. And that's what I love about it, because I'm forced into experiencing some new things. And I'm hoping that through that, I discover some stuff that I wasn't anticipating. So I would have, even not Pushing 100, I would have gone to see this one, because anytime an anime film gets released theatrically in the United States, I want to go and kind of show my support. And this one was in 235. I don't know if that means a lot to many of you, but it does to me. So I went to see it. Even went to see it in my local art house theater rather than going to the Regal, where I don't have to pay. But I went there and I paid. Movie is directed by Mamoru Hosada, I believe. Sorry, you guys, if I'm butchering it. So the story goes, Suzu is a shy high school student living in a rural village. For years, she has only been a shadow of basically of herself. But when she enters You, a massive virtual world, she escapes into her online persona. As Belle, that's her online persona. She's a globally beloved singer. So she puts on live performances and that kind of thing within this, meta. Let me just say it like that. Within this meta world, and get like the synopsis says, she gets a ton of fans. Well, one of her shows is interrupted by kind of a monster, and then the movie becomes an investigation to figure out who this person is, why they did it, and all the drama that ensues. This is legit sort of another anime ripoff of Beauty and the Beast. I mean, as you might expect by her name being Belle. So I knew that going in, but I hoped it would be well executed. I hoped the art would be really cool, so there would be some great visuals. It wasn't. I mean, it's pretty bland for anime, and the story is also pretty bland for anime. There's not much good to say about it. I mean, maybe if you're an 8-year-old girl, you'll like it, and that's probably, the right audience for it. So I'm not going to slam it too hard. I knew going in it wasn't going to be something for me, but I also knew I had to push 100. I'm have to see everything. So I thought, let me give it a chance and see if I would like it, and I did not. Didn't work for me. Didn't work for me. Probably won't work for you either. All right, so what else did I see? I saw American Underdog. I want to see who directed this, actually. This is directed by Andrew Irwin and also John Irwin. I don't know those directors. So the story goes, it's a story of NFL MVP and Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner, who went from stocking shelves in a grocery store to becoming an American football star. This movie stars a couple of actors I actually really like. It stars Zachary Levi and Anna Paquin. So I rooted for this movie. Who else is in it? Anybody else that we would know? Dennis Quaid is in the movie. And Bruce McGill, that's a name that I know. You would know him too. He's one of those guys. Adam Baldwin. Oh, yeah. Adam Baldwin. Okay. So the cast I like pretty good. And here's the thing. I'm not into sports. I just don't have any care whatsoever about any kind of sports. But there are some some sports movies that I like. I like Hoosiers. I enjoy Rudy. I like A League of Their Own. There's probably a few others. I mean, it's a very specific formula, sports movies, just like rom-coms and some of that stuff. But if it's well done, I can enjoy it. This movie, unfortunately, feels like a Hallmark movie in every shape and form. It doesn't even feel cinematic. Like, this feels like something that should have just aired on Lifetime TV or something like that. It's very saccharine-y sweet. It's hammy and overacted. I like Zachary Levi, but he's not entertaining. He's not funny at all. It's funny to watch it, though, because it feels like he was probably getting buffed up for Shazam during the making of this movie, because I know football players are big, but they're not always so top-heavy in the muscles the way he is in this movie. I mean, you could see it. Anna Paquin might be the best actor in this movie. She may have done the best job, but she also had the least to do in a way. So, yeah, this is a totally, utterly forgettable movie. Not good. I mean, if you really, really love that sports movie formula, or you're a fan of this football player, then maybe it's worth watching, because it's very much put together like a jigsaw puzzle. There's nothing new for you to discover here. So, that was the thing. And this was a rough day when I saw that movie, because I did a double feature with the 355. You may or may not even be aware of the 355. It was directed by Simon Kinberg, who has a sketchy history with film. So the 355, it says, when a top secret weapon falls into mercenary hands, a wild card CIA agent joins forces with 3 international agents on a lethal mission to retrieve it, while staying a step ahead of a mysterious woman who's tracking their every move. Okay, so I love this cast. I do. It has the main cast is Jessica Chastain playing the titular agent there. Penelope Cruz, who's someone I never really cared for when she was younger, but I'm learning to appreciate her more now. Bing fan, don't know her, but I liked her in this role. Diane Kruger is in this. And let's see, anybody? I mean, the male actors are nobody I could name or get into, but there's your female leads, the secret agents from around the world. They come together and from different countries to struggle to work together. They fight each other, blah blah blah. It's all very formula, very typical, also very stupid. The plot is stupid, some of the motivations are stupid, the ending set piece is stupid. It's really stupid. It makes no sense, the ending set piece, the way it's set up. It feels like they want to do like a hybrid of Mission Impossible and Charlie's Angels, and the movie is completely 100% set up to be a franchise, for there to be more of them, but it's awful. There will never be another 355, I don't think, because it's bad. The main cast, the actresses, are all doing their best to make it good, and I think they probably had fun doing it, playing these action roles. It felt like it, but it's bad. You guys, this movie's bad. It's bad. Just skip it. All right, so the last movie I want to talk about that I saw this month is the best movie of the month, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's great. So I saw Scream 2022. So basically, we're back in the small town. There's a new Scream killer, and a new group of young people are under attack, and the old guard has to come back in and help them. Neve Campbell returns, Courtney Cox returns, and David Arquette returned, the 3 main cast from the previous films. So I have a complicated, I think I mentioned this in comments on another YouTuber's one of their videos. I have a complicated history with Scream, because I love Wes Craven, and I like the first Scream quite a lot. I think it's funny, and it's well directed. It's Wes Craven. It has some pretty good scares in it. The meta stuff was kind of fun. It was, but I say kind of fun because I think that's what complicates my history with it. Because that movie came out, I'm someone who, I like my horror, hardcore horror. I like it scary, I like it violent, I like it edge of your seat, I like it R-rated. So Scream came out, and I feel like it made so much money at the time when it came out that it impacted Hollywood in such a way that for 20 years after Scream, everyone was trying to find their own version of Scream. There were so many copycat movies that came out, and the horror movies just got softer and softer PG. I mean, you had I Know What You Did Last Summer come out. You had Urban Legend. You had all these really, some of the Final Destinations I would even put in this category. They just were bland, wannabe movies that's all of them in different aspects spent too much time winking at the audience and forgetting to be scary. So as much as I appreciate Scream, I really for a long time hated it for what it did to the genre. And I fear that this resurgence of this film could, negatively impact the genre too. Now it's having a different kind of negative impact now because let's just continue remaking old franchises instead of trying to come up with cool new stuff. So there you go. I do love the first Scream, but I hate it too, right? It's just one of those cultural touchstones that I think had a negative impact in the long run on the genre. So this movie continues all the tropes of the original and the ones before it. There's a lot of in-jokes about horror. These characters know too much about the genre. They're too comfortable in a situation where people around them are getting killed. They're so comfortable that they can make jokes and wink at the audience about the genre of film. There's always that one character who knows everything about it that may or may not be the killer, usually isn't. I don't know, you guys. There were some moments in this new one that were cute and spoke to me as a fan of horror, but I don't like being spoken to. I know some of you guys do, but I don't like being spoken to. And this one does the really horrible thing of referencing really bad mistakes in horror movies as a joke, and then follows through by making those same mistakes as well. If you're going to make a joke of a genre and bring, to the forefront a problem within that genre, then hopefully you choose to fix it. Hopefully you choose to do something better, something smarter. And this one didn't. The whodunit aspect, the Scooby-Doo aspect of this film was one of the worst in franchise history to me. The motivations came out of nowhere. The characters were super obvious, so there was no mystery whatsoever to who the killers were, and that's a big failure in this franchise. Is the mystery is a big piece of the film, but you knew in the first 15 minutes, if you didn't already know from the trailers, kind of who the killers were, and their motivations were just paper thin, not good. Also, on the technical aspect, I liked these directors. Now, I liked Ready or Not. I think, maybe that's a movie that I'm finding nowadays is more divisive than I thought. But I enjoyed Ready or Not. But it was simple, simple fun. It didn't have a whole lot to say, and that's kind of okay sometimes as long as you're not stupid. And I didn't find the movie stupid. And I thought the scares were well executed and more brutal than I anticipated. That carries over to the Scream movie. This Scream movie, and it's to a positive degree, is more brutal than I anticipated, and it knows it, and it makes sure you know it. Now, I think I got sidetracked for just a second, but on the technical, I felt like watching, especially the first act of this movie, I needed to just get up and move further back in the theater. I didn't, but I felt like I should, because these guys shot up the noses of these actors. I don't know why these shots in the first 15 minutes were so tight. They were just so tight on the cast. It was bizarre. During the third act, the actual cinematography did get a little better. A little. But there's nothing to write home about in the look of this film. There's a couple of great shots, a couple of good kills. One kill, one of the better kills in the movie, it goes nowhere. It makes no sense. Like, you could take that scene out of the movie and it wouldn't impact the plot at all. Not even a little bit. So it feels wedged in, and it maybe it feels like, oh, it's been too long since someone died. Let's just randomly kill somebody. I didn't hate the movie, but I also didn't love it. I think it's kind of forgettable. You know, the main cast, the new young people that, you know, are probably trying to establish for the franchise are not interesting. They're not, yeah. They're no Neve Campbell, that's for sure, and no Courtney Cox. And speaking of those characters, they do come back, and they don't matter. They really don't matter. And if Courtney Cox doesn't stop with the plastic surgery, I'm totally not going to recognize her anymore. I'm just saying. So anyway, I think I gave that movie basically a 5 out of 10. On Letterboxd, it's like 2.5 stars, something like that. If you bought it, and I probably will own this movie at some point down the line in a box set, I'm not going to hate it, and I might rewatch it as part of a binge of the franchise, but I'm not going to go out of my way. I think my friend Zach and I saw the movie together, and he's like, you know, it's the kind of movie you put on when you're ironing clothes. You know? So there you go. That said, it was the best movie of January that I saw in theaters. I think I've gone on long enough. That is my January 2022 Pushing 100 update. Wish me luck. I've got 95 more movies to see before the end of the year. So let's see how this goes in February. Until next week, pull something cool off the shelf, share it with friends and family, remind them why physical media is the best way to watch films and TV at home. I will see you guys on the next one.